Excuses are the chains you wrap around yourself, and the wild part is you don't even realize you're doing it. You think you're protecting yourself when really you're limiting yourself. You think you're giving yourself a break when in reality you're breaking your momentum. Every excuse feels small in the moment, harmless, almost reasonable. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. I'll get serious when things calm down. But those words aren't just harmless thoughts. Those words are tiny locks clicking shut, one after another, around your future. And when enough of those locks stack up, you look around one day and realize you're stuck. Not because life held you back, but because you kept giving yourself permission to stop. And I need you to understand something. The most dangerous excuses aren't the obvious ones. It's not the big dramatic reasons that stop people from growing. It's the subtle ones, the quiet ones, the ones you whisper to yourself because they feel justified. Like, I deserve a break. Yes, rest is real, but avoiding your responsibilities is not rest. Or I had a hard week. Everybody has hard weeks. Hard weeks don't mean you get to step away from the life you said you wanted. Or I'm not in the right mindset today. You think success waits for your mindset to line up. You think discipline checks your mood before it works. No, success responds to effort, not emotion. Commitment responds to action, not excuses. Excuses teach you to negotiate with your weakness, and every time you negotiate, your weakness wins. It grows, it becomes louder, stronger, smarter. It starts showing up at the exact moment you're supposed to push. It whispers to you when the alarm goes off. It sits next to you when you're supposed to study. It nudges you when you're supposed to work. And the worst part, it knows your language. It uses your story, your past, your struggles to convince you that stopping makes sense. That slowing down is reasonable, that quitting isn't quitting, it's taking care of yourself. But deep down you know the truth, you're not taking care of yourself, you're avoiding your potential. And here's the real problem. When you let excuses win once, it becomes easier for them to win again. Once you break your word to yourself, your integrity begins to fade. You stop trusting your own voice. You stop believing your own promises. You stop seeing yourself as someone capable of follow through. You become the person who talks big but acts small. The person who dreams big but shows up inconsistently. The person who wants greatness but settles for average because average doesn't demand accountability. But understand this, excuses don't disappear on their own. You have to expose them. You have to call yourself out. You have to catch yourself in the moment and ask, is this the truth or is this my comfort talking? Because your comfort will lie to you. It will dress up excuses as logic. It will turn fear into caution. It will turn laziness into self-care. It will turn procrastination into timing. Comfort will always try to convince you that staying where you are is safer than becoming who you're meant to be. You need to break the cycle, and breaking it starts with being brutally honest with yourself. It starts with looking in the mirror and admitting that you're capable of more than what you've been giving. It starts with accepting that your results aren't about your potential, they're about your consistency. It starts with refusing to water down your standard just because the climb gets steep. You want freedom. Freedom comes from discipline. You want growth. Growth comes from responsibility. You want change. Change comes when you stop making excuses for why you aren't already doing the work. Some of you keep saying you're stuck, but you're not stuck. You're stalling. You're not waiting on a new opportunity. You're avoiding the work required to prepare for the opportunity. You're not overwhelmed. You're unorganized. You're not unlucky. You're unfocused. And the moment you stop making excuses is the moment your power comes back online. Suddenly you see clearly. Suddenly you act with intention. Suddenly you move like someone who understands their potential instead of someone who hides from it. Your life won't change because you want it to. It won't change because you pray for it. It won't change because you talk about it. It will only change when you stop giving yourself reasons to delay the work, when you stop accepting anything less than excellence from yourself, when you stop tolerating your own comfort zone, when you stop letting your feelings dictate your future. The greatest version of you is waiting behind the excuses you keep making. Strip them away, and you will meet the you you've been searching for. Your excuses have had enough of your life. They've taken enough of your time. They've stolen enough opportunities, enough energy, enough potential. This is the moment where you cut the chains. This is the moment where you say no more. No excuses, just push. When you make a decision to push, you have to understand that pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is the proof that you're moving. Too many people panic when life starts applying weight, when obstacles show up, when the plan doesn't go the way they imagined. But pressure isn't there to break you. Pressure is there to reveal you. Pressure is the tool life uses to separate who's serious from who's pretending. Because when everything is smooth, when everything is easy, when everything is comfortable, everybody looks disciplined. Everybody looks committed. Everybody looks motivated. But the moment pressure hits, the moment life tightens the grip, that's when the truth comes out. That's when your real character is exposed. And here's the truth. The people who win long-term aren't the ones who avoid pressure. They're the ones who build a relationship with it. They learn to breathe through it. They learn to keep going while things are shaking. They learn to tell themselves, this pressure is a sign that I'm growing, not a sign I should run. You don't get diamonds without pressure. You don't get strong muscles without resistance. You don't get a new life without discomfort. So when pressure comes, instead of folding, you have to lean in. You have to stand tall. You have to tell yourself, this is the moment that makes me who I said I want to be. The problem is, most people crumble not because they're weak, but because they never trained themselves to stand firm under weight. They never practiced being uncomfortable. They never stayed long enough in difficulty to learn endurance. They think pressure means it's time to quit, when in reality, pressure means you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Pressure is the classroom for champions. Pressure is the practice field for greatness. Pressure is the environment where excuses die and breakthrough begins. But you have to have the courage to stay in that environment long enough to transform. Anybody can push when the road is straight. But when the road gets steep, when the nights get long, when nobody claps for you, when the results take longer than expected, those are the moments where your future is being decided. Not when you feel strong, not when you feel inspired, not when everything is going your way. Your destiny is built in the moments where you feel like quitting but choose to push anyway. You can't pray for strength and then run from situations that require strength. You can't ask for growth and then avoid everything that demands growth. You can't wish for greatness and then collapse whenever pressure shows up. Pressure is not punishment. Pressure is preparation. Pressure is calibration. Pressure is shaping you into the version of yourself that can handle the life you've been dreaming about. You say you want more money, more opportunities, more success, more freedom. Okay, but can you handle the pressure that comes with it? Because elevation demands a different version of you. Responsibility demands a different level of discipline. Success demands a stronger foundation, and pressure is the tool that molds that foundation. That's why you can't run from it. That's why you can't negotiate with it. That's why you can't complain your way out of it. You have to embrace it, face it, and rise under it. You might feel like the weight is too much right now, but I promise you this, it's not too much, it's just new. You've never carried this level of responsibility before. You've never been this close to a breakthrough before. You've never stood at this height before. Of course it feels heavy. Of course it feels uncomfortable. Of course you doubt yourself. Growth always feels like that at first. But if you keep pushing, that same weight that feels unbearable today will feel normal tomorrow. And eventually it will feel light because you got stronger, you adapted, you rose to the level of the pressure instead of shrinking beneath it. So when pressure comes, and it will, don't you dare quit. Don't you dare back down. Don't you dare tell yourself you're not built for it. You are built for exactly this moment. You've survived too much, grown too much, learned too much to fold now. The pressure is not here to take you out. It's here to take you up. It's proof that you're moving, proof that you're changing, proof that you're stepping into the person you were always meant to be. Just push. You have to understand something deep. Discipline isn't a skill you're born with. It's a decision you make every single day. Discipline is the weapon that destroys every excuse you've ever used to justify why you're not where you said you wanted to be. Because excuses sound good until you realize they've stolen years from you. Excuses have robbed people of dreams, of opportunities, of chances they may never get again. But discipline gives it all back. Discipline rebuilds what excuses destroyed. Discipline takes you from wishing to working, from wanting to winning, from almost to absolutely. Some people keep losing not because they're not talented, not because they're not capable, but because they've allowed their emotions to run their life instead of their commitment. They only work when they feel like it. They only show up when they're motivated. They only push when the energy is perfect. But discipline does not care about feelings. Discipline doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. Discipline shows up when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when life is hitting you from every angle. Discipline is the voice inside that says, we're doing this anyway. And that's the difference between people who start strong and people who finish strong. The ones who finish strong have trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. They don't negotiate with their goals. They don't make deals with their weakness. They don't let excuses take the wheel. They've learned that success is not built on emotion, it's built on repetition. Consistent, disciplined, unglamorous repetition. Doing the things you don't want to do on the days you don't want to do them because you understand that your destiny depends on it. When discipline becomes your default setting, everything changes. You stop depending on motivation because you realize motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. Motivation shows up late and leaves early, but discipline is faithful. It's steady. It's reliable. It's the one thing you can count on to carry you through when the world feels heavy. When your mind is tired, when your heart is overwhelmed, discipline holds you up when everything else is falling apart. You have to build a life where your decisions are not controlled by your mood. You have to get to a point where your standards are higher than your feelings. Because feelings will betray you, feelings will tell you to sleep in when your future is begging you to get up. Feelings will tell you to quit when your purpose is telling you to keep going. Feelings will tell you to take the easy way out when the easy way leads nowhere. Discipline teaches you how to lead your feelings instead of being led by them. And listen carefully. Discipline is not punishment. Some people hear the word and immediately think it's about suffering. No, discipline is a form of self-respect. Discipline is the highest expression of self-love. It means you care about your future enough to sacrifice for it today. It means you choose progress over pleasure. It means you're done lying to yourself. It means you're ready to take full responsibility for your life. When you commit to a disciplined life, you start separating from people who live by excuses, not because you're better than them, but because you're choosing a path they're not willing to walk. A disciplined person becomes unstoppable because they no longer allow the world to dictate their pace. They move with intention, they move with purpose. They move in alignment with the person they're becoming, not the person they were. It's time for you to strengthen your discipline like a muscle. You don't build muscle by thinking about it. You build it by using it. The same goes for discipline. Start small. Do the thing you said you'd do. Show up when you said you would. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Every small act of discipline is a brick, and when you stack enough bricks, you build an identity you can trust. That's the real breakthrough, when you become someone who can rely on themselves. Because once you trust yourself, you don't make excuses anymore. You don't justify laziness anymore. You don't sabotage your own progress anymore. You live with intention, and you push with purpose, and you rise with consistency. And once discipline becomes who you are, excuses don't even have a place in your vocabulary. Just push. There's a version of you out there, a stronger you, a sharper you, a more disciplined, more focused, more unstoppable you. But you will never meet that version as long as you keep negotiating with your excuses. You can't become who you're meant to be while protecting the behaviors that are keeping you average. You can't evolve into the next level while clinging to the comfort of the level you're on. That future version of you only reveals itself when you make a decision to stop playing small, stop playing safe, and stop playing scared. That version of you is waiting behind the doors you refuse to open because you keep giving yourself options that pull you backward. Every time you tell yourself, maybe tomorrow, I'll try later, I'll start when things calm down, you create distance between who you are and who you want to be. Those tiny negotiations feel harmless, but they destroy momentum. They weaken your identity. They teach your mind that your standards are flexible. And once your mind learns you're willing to bend, you start bending everywhere. Your goals, your promises, your potential. The version of you you're chasing isn't created by bending. It's created by rising. It's created by refusing to settle. It's created by living with a level of commitment so strong that excuses don't stand a chance. You have to stop lowering the bar every time life gets uncomfortable. Stop adjusting your vision just because the journey isn't convenient. Stop telling yourself you'll do it later when later becomes never. Your future self needs you to be relentless today, that person you want to become, successful, disciplined, confident, respected. They are not born from comfort. They're born from consistency. They're born from sacrifice. They're born from moments where you wanted to quit but didn't. That future you only steps forward when the present you refuses to back down. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Sometimes you're not waiting on a miracle. You're waiting on yourself. You're waiting on the version of you that doesn't break when things get tough. You're waiting on the version of you that shows up even when emotions say stay home. You're waiting on the version of you that doesn't care about excuses, doesn't care about fear, doesn't care about how long it takes, only cares about becoming everything they said they would be. That you doesn't appear by accident, that you appears the moment you decide that enough is enough. When you stop negotiating, you stop giving your weakness a microphone. You stop letting your doubts lead the conversation. You stop letting your limitations speak louder than your purpose. You begin to operate from a place of conviction instead of convenience. And when you operate from conviction, your effort changes, your discipline changes, your habits change. Negotiating with excuses keeps you stuck, but cutting them off sets you free. You must understand your future is expensive. Your potential is expensive, your destiny is expensive, and the price is consistency. The price is discipline. The price is effort when you're tired and commitment when you're empty. You can't pay for a higher level life with low-level habits. You can't step into greatness with the same mindset that kept you average. The version of you you want to become is not cheap, and excuses can't afford it. Every day you have a choice, negotiate or elevate. Every morning you wake up, your mind offers two paths: the path of discipline or the path of excuses. And the life you live will always reflect the path you choose most often. You can't blame anyone else. You can't point the finger. You can't wait for the right moment. You either choose the life you want or you choose the excuses that keep you from it. But hear me, if you ever stop negotiating, if you ever stop letting excuses speak, if you ever make that decision to push with no backup plan, no safety net, no escape route, your whole life will shift, your confidence will rise, your identity will strengthen, your momentum will explode, and the version of you you've been chasing will finally step into the room. Because that version of you has been waiting on one thing: your commitment. Just push.